So we've seen some examples of exploded views, and we've even created some exploded views from completed objects. Now what we're going to do is try to work backwards. What does an object look like if you're to collapse all the parts back in on themselves? So again, we're focusing on sketching. We just have to get the lengths and distances close-ish. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your lines don't have to be perfectly straight, but the goal is to demonstrate your understanding of the final product. And so if you find that your neatness is impeding your understanding, that you can't show your understanding because of the neatness, grab a ruler and use a ruler. So we're going to sketch the front, side, and top views of this shelving unit. And so let's just start with the front view. And the front, we'll say, is viewing from this angle here. Well, if we collapse everything in on itself, we notice we're going to have this big rectangular base to start with. That's sort of going to form, and it's going to come from outside the shelves even. It's going to form the basis for our view. So I'm going to start with this big rectangular frame for the beginning. Now we're going to see that we have these shelves that we have to worry about. So how many spaces do we have between the shelves? Well, we've got, let me use a different color here. Use yellow. We've got one here at the top of this. There's going to be space between that and the next one. So we've got a space here, a space there, a space here, and finally that last space between the top. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces that I have to capture. So let's try to divide that up evenly. There we go. So now we have roughly 4 even spaces. And there's this divider here in the middle. So that's going to make that smaller space in the middle divided. And then we have our 3 other spaces above that. So we're pretty much there. The last thing I want to look at is this little guy on the bottom here. These little feet here. And basically it's going to show up in the view as just this tiny little rectangle on the bottom. We're not going to see the feet sticking out from the front view. We're just going to see this rectangular shape right along the bottom. Now I haven't really tried to capture the thickness of the cabinets. We can, but we don't have to, or you don't have to. If you'd like to, you're welcome to try to capture the thickness of things, but that's not really a necessity. Just as long as you have those outside lines. Same with the shelves. Again, we could try to give them a little weight like that, but it's not totally necessary in your sketch. Again, it's just about showing that you understand those parts. On the next slide, we'll go through the side and top views, which will be a little quicker and easier. So now I'll do the side view. So it doesn't matter which side, but I'll go from this left-hand side just because it's the closer side to us. And so what's that going to look like? Well, we're just going to basically see this rectangular side. We're not going to see any of the shelving things in the cabinet. So let's start there. Here's our side view. It's going to be a long and thin shelf. And that's basically it, right? Here's the shelf as viewed from the side. But again, we are going to see the feet down here, which the unit's standing on. And they don't look like they take up the whole distance. Maybe they do. Yeah, actually maybe they do, just looking at the picture. So I'm actually going to fix that for my drawing. Just did a little erasing, and I'm going to make, to me it looks like if those holes are matching up there and there, it looks like the feet go the whole distance along the back. So I'm just fixing it so that you sort of see that foot go the whole distance of the side of the shelf. Finally, we have the top view, and the top's going to look very similar, right? Because again, it's just a rectangular view. It's just a rectangular cabinet. So it should have the same, this length here should be the same as this length here that we drew for the side, and then the length should be the same that we drew previously, but again, it's just a sketch. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just have to show that we understand what it looks like roughly from those three sides. And we don't see the feet from the top because we're looking straight down and they're hidden at the bottom of the shelf.